Mr. Adi Godrej, Mr. S. Gopalakrishnan, Ajay Sriramji, Mr. Chandrajit Banerjee, leaders of business and industry, friends, it's an honor for me to be here today. And I'd like to begin by telling you why it's an honor for me. See, there's a tendency to look at India as a country. In our everyday life, we see India as a national structure. But if you go back slightly more than that, go back 100 years, 200 years, you'll find that India actually is energy. It is a force. If you go back 1,000 years, 2,000 years, you would find that that force came from our rivers. Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati. We worshipped these rivers. And the reason we worshipped them was because that was where our energy came from. And everything we had was built on those rivers. Now, we've gone way beyond that. We have built structures that are allowing this energy to rise, to explode. And it's an honor for me to be here, because as this energy moves from India and goes abroad, you are the cutting edge. You are the people on the first line. And you are the people who are our ambassadors. You are the people who tell the world what this energy is about. Over the last couple of years, you have done a tremendous job. The image of India has changed. I went to university in 1991, and I remember nobody thought of India. I remember conversations where people would laugh and say, look, you know, do you have elephants on the road? Nobody's saying that today. And a huge part of that is because of you. So I'd like to thank you, and I'd like to tell you that it's a big honor for me to be here addressing you. I think the way it's going to work is I'm going to give a little speech, and then we're going to have questions, right? Okay, so can I take this? It was a dark night some years ago when my team and I got on the Gorakhpur Lokmanya Tilak Express and traveled across India's heartland. We wanted to understand how young Indians were building their future. And I spent a large part of the 36-hour journey moving across the train and talking to travelers, youngsters, weary families, and migrants moving from the dust of Gorakhpur to the glitter of Mumbai. It took us 36 hours. It's called an express. Anyway, I remember a young boy from Purvanchal, Girish, who painted the outside of skyscrapers. There were two carpenters, one of them traveling from his village to Mumbai for the very first time. Imagine the feeling of a young fellow getting on the train, coming out of his village, going to Mumbai. Spoke to a young Muslim boy setting out to start his life. He had no idea what work he was going to do. I asked him, boss, what happens if you reach Mumbai and there's nothing for you to do? If I reach Mumbai, there's nothing for me to do. I'll get in a train, I'll go to Bangalore. That's the spirit of this country. Forward-moving, brave. What struck me about that train was the optimism. These were poor people, weak people, but not one of them was pessimistic. They were sitting there saying, "Haan bhaiya, kaam ho jayega. Naukri mil jayegi." And they were all struggling. And this optimism for me is just like India. It's bursting with dreams and fearless ideas, brave ideas. And as it hurtled towards Mumbai, I sat there looking at this train and wondering how many of these dreams will actually be fulfilled. By the time we reached Mumbai, we had made friends with Girish the carpenter. And he told us, come and see where I live. And we thought, that's an interesting thing to do. We had come all the way from Gorakhpur and we thought, let's see what this little migrant, young migrant is doing. 4 o'clock in the morning, walk off into the gullies of Bombay, monsoon season, where feet are going into puddles, and then he opens the door. Little room, probably the size, twice the table. 6 people sleeping inside. They get up. All of them are migrants. All of them have done that little journey. All of them have that dream. We had a little chat. Very smart fellow, entrepreneur like all of you, except he had the empty pockets. And he says, come to the chai wala. We go to the chai wala. There's 5-6 of us. And he buys us all tea. And he insisted that, nahi, main to kharidunga. That is the spirit of this country. Millions and millions and millions of youngsters struggling every day with optimism. And the story of the story of Girish exemplifies the idea of empowerment. It exemplifies the Indian worker, the Indian entrepreneur. And as we talk here, 1 billion people are breaking their shackles. They're coming out and they're claiming their place in the sun. India is home to the largest pool of human capital the world has ever known, and probably will ever know. And it is this movement of people, this tremendous movement of people and ideas, that is going to define this country in the 21st century. It is this energy that is producing your best managers. It's driving the stock market. And it's the energy providing labor for all your factories. It drives the consumption upon which your businesses are built. Democracy and technology have triggered a non-reversible chain reaction in India. This reaction is now unstoppable. Nobody can stop it. We have to channel this reaction. We are now sitting on an unstoppable tide of human aspiration, a tide so great that it is going to move forward, regardless of what we do. But for this massive movement of people and ideas to be truly transformational, we need to nurture it. We need to make it harmonious. We need to make it happen smoothly. We need to use the energy generated by this movement of people and ideas, the force that this movement is generating, and we need to use it to empower everybody. Not one person, not almost everybody, but everybody.